they blind, oh. We must fight for our right, oh. Anyhow, man must die, oh. Yeah.
After 3 years, almost 3 years after land borders were closed, something's funny.
Is what you said.
Okay. Almost 3 years after land borders were closed. Yeah, well, land borders have been closed for about 3 years now, right? I'm not catching the joke here, so I'm not laughing. But anyway.
2019.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And well, the borders have been finally closed by the federal government. And
closed?
The federal government has given a directive to reopen 4 more borders.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You finally got there.
Now, of course, this is a sequel to the presidential directive on December 16, 2020, granting approval for phased reopening of land borders, namely Mfon, Seme, Ilela, and Megateri borders across the country. Now, the federal government has given a directive, that will happen. So let's take a look at the social and economic impact of the border reopening. Do you think lessons have been learned, and economic realities of people? How real are these realities and all of that? Well, we have a couple of guests, but one of them has since joined us. Lasisi Fano is a clearing agent. Thanks for joining us this morning, Mr. Fano.
Good morning. Thank you for connecting me in there.
All right. So, first of all, is it cheering news or scary news that the land borders have been reopened?
It's not scary. It's not scary. It can be scary because when something is shut to you for quite some time and it's opened, it can be scary. It just have to be. It's sharing.
All right. So do you think that almost 3 years after, lessons have been learned that needed to be learned? Do you think it was effective that the land borders were closed, or it was just business as usual anyway?
Yeah, the border was closed. Actually, it was closed to very many official businesses, and it can never be business as usual. So the border is being pronounced being open, though Seme border and 3 other borders have been open since November 2020. However, the business activity is not flourishing as expected.
Okay, the question that I'm trying to find out from you is, do you think it was worth it eventually that the land borders were closed because the reasons that were given were part of the FG's efforts to prevent smuggling of illegal firearms, food, and agricultural products to stimulate local production?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not worth it closing the border before you achieve what you need to achieve. If the federal government want to achieve something, they will achieve it, not until the border is closed, because we have security agencies, not 1, not 2, not 3. Whereas they have joint border task forces. You need to close the border before you get you are not effective in what you are doing. You don't need to close the border. But the border was shut down. The activities at the border was shut down, and you know the effect on the economy of the country. Either to improve agricultural products, like I learned some 2 weeks ago, last week, that the economic activity, agricultural product has improved greatly in Nigeria. Where?
Oh dear.
Oh. Well, I'm certain that we're going to get him back shortly. Because you're curious about something.
Yes. I wanted to understand clearly. Was he saying that the closure didn't achieve anything? Or is it that my mind is just not absorbing what he was... Okay. Mr. Fano, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Good. Mr. Fano, are you saying that the border closure didn't achieve anything?
What do we achieve? If you can name one. What do we achieve? Does it mean that the illegal routes are not operating? Some of the legal routes are operating. We have some borders that are so porous that all of us know that they have never been closed for one day.
Mr. Fano,
unless we pretend.
Mr. Fano, did you see those rice pyramids? I saw them.
I saw them too. Is it a new thing? I saw them too. Can that rice pyramid be enough for the people in Nigeria? You tell me the truth.
Mr. Fano, it's yes, not please. That the rice will be enough to feed 200 million people. It's that our rice production has increased. We did better because we had no choice than to eat Nigerian rice. Okay,
accepted. But you want to tell me that until you shut the border before you prevent those things coming, why do we have custom officers? Why do we have the police and the military officers that they have joint border patrol vans here and there with the numerous checkpoints we have on the roads?
But you know now.
That what?
What you know now.
No matter, let's be frank, we don't need to close the border. If they say the border to be closed for arms and ammunition, we're fine. And that is only if they want to close the border to reduce. But do they need to close the border before they achieve that? I don't think so. There are some borders in the northern part of the country that are not even closed at all. That is the simple truth. We all know.
Well, Mr. Fano, you've spoken to something that we have talked about so many times. The official borders were closed. And you said that the illegal entry routes were still very active. Would you say that the authorities, immigration, customs, that they knew about this whole illegal borders and didn't checkmate the activities, those illegal activities that were going on there?
You see, I wouldn't know if the government has no manpower to the extent of checking them, but I know and for sure that there are some routes we have in some parts of Ogun State. There are numerous routes that people can just come in with. They have it in another area that people just come in with without being harassed, and so on and so forth. It's not that the border closure has totally achieved the aims and objective of the closure. No.
But do you think it achieved anything at all?
Well, I still believe that you don't need to close the border before you achieve what you want to achieve, because you have customs, you have soldiers, you have police, the numerous checkpoints, even if the people die.
But Mr. Fano, you also know that the smugglers are extremely active. Whether the borders are open or closed, they are very active.
You must close the border before you achieve what you need to achieve. No, you don't need to close the border. I still repeat that word. You don't need to close the border. You only need to reinforce your manpower.
Well, I don't wanted to ask you a question the other time, Mr. Fano. Go ahead. You asked him a question a little while ago. Okay. All right. We'll come back to it. But, you know, Mr. Fano, there's something that you said, I'm still a little boggled by it. And that's the fact that, you know, you talked about the authorities, the customs, the immigration, and all those things. First of all, let me ask you, from what you can see and from what you know, when the borders were closed, how active were these illegal routes that you talk about?
You see, I am not part of people that operate the illegal route, because we are licensed by customs to operate as custom broker for revenue generation for the country.
Okay. I think many people are trying to reach you, Mr. Fano. You know. But it's important to ask that question of him, because if indeed we had, from what he has said, that the illegal routes were still very, very active. Yes, Mr. Fano, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think I told you already. Do you need to close the border? We don't really achieve.
No. You were trying to speak to the operation of illegal routes by some people. And yes, like the last thing we heard. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Like I told you, we are licensed by Nigerian Customs as between the importer and the government for collection of revenue on behalf of the government from the importer on their imports, which we are involved in. But we are not blind, and we have our ears. So since the border was closed, official activities at the border route where particularly I operate, semi-border, for example, were shut down. And in semi-border, we don't have any Abuja route. But go to other borders, Ogun State, the northern area, where the routes, most of those routes are not even being manned by security agents because of the desert aspect of it. Things are still coming in.
I don't know, but because I'm not sure I've been to any border. I don't think Nigeria has a fence all around it to tell us, whether or not such things really do exist. But I'm just wondering how those activities would be happening and the authorities would know and not do anything about it. Is that to say that the authorities do not have the capacity to do the needful, close down or checkmate those illegal activities from those other borders that are making your business look like it's not necessary or important?
You use one word, that capacity. That is what I said earlier. Does it not mean that the government doesn't have capacity to checkmate? Must they close the border before they checkmate? If the federal government actually has the capacity to checkmate, then why close the border? When you know that you don't have capacity to checkmate, you close border. I know you have some other routes that are so porous that no matter what happens, there are no checkpoints there to checkmate. So Nigeria doesn't have problem. The problem is almost in all sectors. For those of us at the border areas, the border has been open. Even the business activities since November 2020, when semi-border and 3 other borders were open. We can't see any business activity from the third-party countries. The only thing that is there is the ECOWAS ETLS goods that are coming in or going out. Apart from that, third-party country, the policies there will not allow the business to strive.
Mr. Fano, the opening of the borders, this will also affect people coming into our country. And already, I can't confirm this, but we hear that many of those who are causing trouble in our country are not actually Nigerians. So with us now throwing open more borders, don't you think that more foreigners will have free access into our country?
It seems as if you are trying to divert from what we're here, but then we all know that there are some of these borders that are very, very difficult to man in the northern areas. They are just open. There was a time I went to Kano for a wedding, and I met a friend. He was telling me that there are some desert border area there. You don't even know you are crossed to the other country. Then to know that you are here. So the business activity there, either official or unofficial, are still striving. But here, we have one single road, semi-border in particular, where I belong. We have one single road that when the border was closed, there is no way you can jump. You jump anywhere you enter, you can't pass through Badi Bridge. Badi Bridge is the only connector between Cotonou and Lagos through this axis. So apart from Idiroko, Ogun State, that have some numerous routes equally. There are some things going on there too that it will be difficult for one man to do, except there's always conspiracy in everything. And in as much as there's conspiracy in everything, definitely you cannot say nothing happened between me and you.
But even semi-border, Mr. Fano,
yeah.
You know that around that area, there are many footpaths through which people and goods enter Nigeria.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you saying?
Yeah, the little thing what I know about semi-border is that if you listen to stories in Semi, most of the time, the customs almost every month, they make seizure of petroleum products, 1,000, 5,000, 6,000 kegs almost every month. And they seize rice every month. When you go to Cotonou, you pass through this illegal route and you come out, you want to go with your rice, you always see them I think every month, once in a month, they make press review of how they pick all these things from them. Sometimes we wonder why. Is it only at the southern border here this happens? It doesn't happen in the northern side. It happened here. That the press conference every time, petroleum product, in fact, the contract we have now, even now, they see arrest petroleum product every day. Even this rice we are talking about, if they see you with 2-3 bags of rice in your boat, they ask you to bring it down. They say the rice is not coming in. Fine. You see, it's happening now. That's the simple truth. They are doing that now that the border is officially open. Before, too, they do it when the border was closed. But don't forget that the border has been open for going to 2 years now.
Okay, well, Mr. Fano, there's something that I would like to. I mean, you have spoken to, from the question my colleague asked you here. You have spoken to footpaths that, you know, you can enter into another country and not even know it. Okay, so I want you to speak to the role that the communities within those border areas can play in stemming the tide of smuggling. Do you think we're having enough conversations with them? Do you think we are engaging the communities at all in order to try at least to stem the tide of smuggling?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question. You see, for you to achieve something sometimes, you have to give the people something. When you look at the border area, we don't have any industry. We don't have anywhere those community youth can get engaged. If the border area happen to have a place where federal government of Nigeria remember the border area, say, okay, the communities are there, let us give them, for instance, trailer park. We have been agitating for. Let's say they give us trailer park now. In that trailer park, there will be an employment for more than 5,000 people. If those 5,000 people are engaged there, getting their means of livelihood there, definitely they will never assist in encouraging smuggling of anything through the bush paths. Then they're not there. Occasionally we get involved in it. So we want the government to show us that, yes, they are really the government that we belong to in these axis. Let them give us trailer park. We have been requesting, shouting for trailer park, shouting for trailer park. You see, when you come to border now, you see trailer park on that single road, and the road is almost gone, dilapidated since 25 or 30 years back. No repair, no nothing. Especially in a border road. You see the trucks are parked there. They could park from border to up to go to that secondary school. Companies will bring trailer park. They will generate money there. They will employ the youth there. The youth will get them there.
When you say government, which government is supposed to?
Federal government of Nigeria. Federal government of Nigeria.
Isn't that so? I don't know how it runs, but do you think that is the responsibility of the federal government or the state governments?
Then the federal government should mandate the state government to do it. We've been clamoring for it. But if the federal government asks the state government to provide them with land, they will get the land. And when they get the land, they will go ahead and do it. Charge the truck 5,000 to 2,000, as the case may be. You will recuperate that money back. And the moment you get that money back, the rest of it is not profit to federal government or whether federal or state government, because it's a project that is made that is more than what the local government can carry.
Pardon my ignorance, Mr. Fano, but what is the purpose of the trailer park, and why do we need trailer parks at the borders?
You're asking why do we need trailer park?
I'm asking, I said, pardon my ignorance. I may not know.
Okay. Why we need it is that you can't just come to border now and enter and cross to the other side immediately. At least minimum is 24 hours. Within that 24 hours, you block the road. When you want to go, your documentation is not complete. You block the road. The other time, the customer was saying, don't bring your trailer towards this. Don't bring your trailer to even Badagry if you know you have not finished your documentation. Just don't come close at all. If we have trailer park, those trailers, as they are coming, they will enter the park while the documentation are being carried out. So saying that you don't know why we need a trailer park at the border, to me, is surprising, and I will now invite you to come to the border to physically see why we needed a trailer park. If you come to border now, I went to border yesterday. Yes, yesterday. The road was blocked with the Dangote trucks.
But Mr. Fano, Mr. Fano, with African free trade area taking off, Are we not likely to see more trailers bringing in and taking out goods from Nigeria?
We do. That's why we're shouting for this. There was a meeting I involved. This is what we call it. Nigerian Joint Border Commission. I am a member through Badagry Basima. And the first thing we need to achieve, we've been shouting and been meeting government for. We went to Minister of Foreign Affairs the other time. We went to Nigeria Export Promotion Council shouting for this trailer park. We need their presence. We need federal government presence here. The road is blocked. So now let's assume the policy of government enables third-party country goods now start coming in through Cotonou as is through Semeboda. That number of truck again will now include in the presence one we have. That means you come to the border, you now have a hold up that will even take you 2, 3, 4 hours before you. Those of you that just crossing the border, 2, 3, 4 hours before you cross the border. So if there is trailer park, the road will be free. Lagos State, what do they call them? Road obstruction, whatever they call themselves recently. They came out and say any trailer that stand on the road, they were arrested for some time. We got 60,000 from the penalty before leaving those trailers for parking on the road. If you come to border now, before you get to the border with trailers on the road, you will see what I'm telling you.
You're talking about Semeboda now.
Yeah, because that's where I reside, that's where I work.
Okay, but Idiroko is going to be open or has been opened according to what the president just said. And Idiroko used to be a very busy border in those days. So do you expect any let off on the Seme side because Idiroko is now open?
Yeah, if actually for now, like I said, with the federal government policy on this third-party country goods, if it remains the same, and our federal government of Nigeria refuses to talk to Cotonou to actually restrict themselves to collection of transit fee alone from us, the traffic may not be much. It may just remain as it is like this.
So apart from the transit fee, what are they collecting now?
Apart from the transit ECOWAS goods, third-party country goods are maybe 1-2 container in 2-3 weeks. 1-2 container, whereby you know Semeboda has to be that maybe 1,000 container coming before in a day. But now today, since the border opening with the policy and the Cotonou, we have to charge 1.8, 1.3, 40 foot and 20 foot respectively. You pay that in Cotonou, you come to border where you are going to pay a normal duty because we have only one power ruling house in Nigeria, Abuja. How much you pay for it?
Oh dear.
Oh, we hope we'll get him back.
In Lagos port from PTM, it's the same thing. When they open the border, that they said the goods must come in their original form. If the goods are coming in the original form, and you have one power ruling house in Abuja, issuing power to everybody, you are paying what they pay in Lagos, and you are still paying high duty. You are paying duty again in Cotonou instead of transit fee. That's the administrative charges. And Cotonou refused. They say, go to anywhere, we'll still collect duty from you here in Cotonou. And when you pay there and pay in Seme, what they pay in Tinka, you get to the market. You are entering the market with 7 million naira, while Lagos maybe 5.5 million naira. No importer will leave 5.5 and come to 7 million naira. That is why the traffic in Cotonou is still for third-party country goods from China, Korea, and so on and so forth. Is still on the restricted area. People say they open border, but the policy there does not allow third-party country goods to start coming in yet.
So essentially, as far as you're concerned, there's still a lot more work to do in order for the borders for us to maximize the borders.
Yes.
So beside this one that you just mentioned now, what other things need to be done?
Well, I think if federal government can look inward, Lagos port is congested for cars, like I keep on saying all the time. Cars, if they can lift the ban, if they can be allowed cars to come in through Lagos port, I don't know why they should prevent cars from coming in through land borders. And The first time, 2016, I know, in a month, we generated 1.something billion for generation from cars alone. That was when we don't pay much money. Now that the border has fully been opened, if the federal government can also release the importation of cars through the land borders, I think federal government needs money, they will get more money, because with it too, in these porous borders, vehicles are still managing to come in there.
Okay.
Even to the border sometimes, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you a quick one before we wrap up this conversation. You talked about the federal government and the state governments the other time. I was just wondering if you think there is a role in all of these for local government administrations to facilitate, ease, and help checkmate illegal activities. Do you see that happening?
Local government? Yes. I don't see that happening.
Really? Why?
Because federal government have nothing for the indigenous, the people within those areas to live upon. If they have something, they have an industry. Seme is the only industry we have in this houses. Seme is the only industry that you can see partisan traders, vulcanizers, everybody goes there and work.
So you don't think that any local government can do anything that can facilitate activities that will help checkmate smuggling?
I don't think so, because I'm just telling you frankly, I don't think so, because the local government chairman, those people that are very redundant there, that prevent them from doing anything whatever, are constituting nuisance to the local government chairman and to the community. So if they are engaged in doing little things that is giving them daily bread, if the local government chairman prevented them from doing that, what do you think it will be?
I don't even want to imagine, Mr. Fano, but right now we have to just thank you very much for this very illuminating conversation that we have had with you. Lasisi Fano is a clearing agent. Thank you so much. A licensed clearing agent, he said. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Yeah. Well, there's always so much to say. You're still shocked. Stay there. Well, let's take a short break. Maybe by the time we're done,
I would have recovered.
We'll be back with another topic.